You made it. This is week 6 of the playoffs. This is the day that you are getting ready to go play for a championship. Can you even believe that you made it? Man, say it to yourself. Say it out loud and think how good it feels to be able to say that. You are playing for a championship. And I want to talk tonight about what it means to be a champion, what it's going to take to get there. First of all, here's something I know. Football is the greatest team sport in the entire world. And here's what I know about football. If you want to win a championship, one person cannot get it done. It does not matter how big of a star that one person is. It doesn't matter how talented they are, how fast, how strong. One person cannot win a football game by themselves. Football is the greatest team sport in the world. It takes more than one person. It takes an entire team. But here's something else I know. A team of common individuals cannot win a championship either. It doesn't matter how good they execute, how well they play together. If you are just common and you've got a whole team full of common people, it's not going to happen. Tony Dungy would often quote his college coach from Minnesota, and he would say this. He said, "Success is not common and not to be enjoyed by the common man." Here's what that means. People, they don't just hand out trophies, right? Not everybody gets to play in a championship game. Not everybody gets to become that champion, right? But if you want to do it, you cannot act the same way that a common person does. You have to do things. You have to work harder. You have to go harder. You have to push yourselves in ways that normal people don't. If you are still standing, if you are still playing right now, you have obviously done that. You have what it takes to go win a championship. All this time, we've been following David. David knew that he had what it took to become king of Israel, because one day the prophet, when he was just a boy, the prophet came to him and said, "You are going to be the king of Israel." And so David lived his entire life knowing that one day would come, but it didn't come right away. David had to go back to the fields and become a shepherd again. He had to take care of all these things. And along the way in his life, he had to overcome some stuff. He had to overcome impatience. He had to overcome the voices that were coming up against him. He had to overcome all the enemies and the opponents that came up. He had to overcome fatigue, and he had to even overcome doubt. And that's where we left off last week. Last week we found David in an enemy country before an enemy king, pretending that he was insane. But yet this week we're going to find out that he became king. And I wonder, what was the difference? What changed in David to go from one day pretending like he was insane to the next day becoming king? Here's what it was. In 1 Samuel chapter 21, verse 1, that's where we were last week. And David is in a foreign country acting like he's crazy, acting like he's scared. And he was all alone. There was nobody else with him. It was just David when he was there. Fast forward to the next chapter. Now, David has men around him, and it says that he's out in this cave, and all of a sudden these men start to come to him, and they start to rally around him. Now, these were not just ordinary men. These were not common men. These were mighty warriors. These guys did some crazy things that you can find in the Bible if you read it. But listen to me. David surrounded himself with these men. When David was alone, he was scared and he had no shot to become king. But now that these men were with him, David starts to rally. David starts to win some battles. David starts to feel good. And in 1 Chronicles chapter 11, this is what it says. It says, "These were the chiefs of David's mighty men. They, together with all Israel, gave his kingship strong support to extend it over the whole land as the Lord had promised." You see, David couldn't get there by himself. And listen, man, you have to understand this. This is going to be true in your life. After you graduate high school, after you graduate college, you're going to have a tendency to try and drift to yourself, all right? And not surround yourself with that same team of guys that you're playing with right now. But listen to me. You cannot become all God wants you to be in your life if you are alone. You need other men around you, and you don't just need common men. You don't just need men here around you who are the same as everybody else. You need men around you who are strong. You need men around you who will fight. You need men men around you who will hold you accountable and make sure that you are doing everything that you need so that you can get where God wants you to go. And that's what you want more than anything in your life. You want to get to where God wants you to go. That's when you become a champion as a man. Now, tonight, you get to go out and you get to play for a championship. How are you going to act? How are you going to carry yourself? You can't do it on your own. But listen, you've got all those guys surrounding you, and not common then. You have not been common. You have not been common all year. You didn't do the same things that everybody else did. You pushed yourself in August in the heat, running those sprints. You pushed yourself in the weight room all through this offseason, continuing to do it right now. Even last year, the year before that, some of you guys have been training for this moment and believing in yourself and hoping and dreaming for this moment for the last 3-4 years. Some of you have been praying and hoping and dreaming about this for your entire lives, and now it's here. So how are you going to act when you go out there tonight? First of all, you got to have confidence in yourself, all right? Know that you have what it takes. Know the calling that you have. Know that you are destined to be a king, destined to be a champion. But it goes beyond just believing, because even when you don't believe, because it's going to be tough tonight. It's going to be tougher than any challenge you have ever faced on a football field. And there's going to be times that you doubt. And when you have those moments of doubt, you got to rise up and you got to fight. And you can save fatigue for tomorrow. You can get tired tomorrow after the game's over, but not tonight. Tonight you got no fatigue. You got no tired. You're not going to get hurt. You can be hurt. You can be sore tomorrow, but not tonight. And lean on each other, man. Lean on those mighty men who are around you. And man, it is time. David went through his whole life overcoming, outlasting one thing after another. And then it came time. Then came the moment for him to become king. Man, this is your moment. This is your time. Step up. It's time to become a king. It's time to become a champion.